It wouldn't be a good transfer window without a last minute pull the rug from under your feet moment, would it? Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And what that means today is talking about breaking news. Is it breaking news? I don't know. It's probably not solid enough to be considered breaking news at the moment, but what has been dropped via Mr. David Ornstein per The Athletic is that Chelsea have supposedly made contact with Barcelona for a 50 mil bid for attacking midfielder Fermin Lopez. So Fermin Lopez is another good attacking midfielder from Barcelona, right? And we are currently in the market for an attacking midfielder as per all of the myriad recent news concerning Xavi Simons, which has gone off the boil a little bit as of late. So what you can instantly see is that because the bid is for 50 mil, that's probably less than we'd be looking at paying for someone like Xavi Simons, who was only bought for 50 mil by Redbull Leipzig in the last transfer window in January. So instantly it does kind of make sense, right? Like keeping our options open kind of thing. So the Xavi Simons stuff, obviously like 2-3 weeks ago, God, it's been going on for so long now, isn't it? But 2-3 weeks ago, felt like it was going to happen tomorrow. He was out of the squad and then he was like, oh, actually, I want to come back in, and he's playing games for Redbull Leipzig right now. So evidently those transfer negotiations are taking a really long time. Barcelona have obviously been in financial woes as of the last like 5-6 years. I mean, it's been a really long time now. It's, constantly they are struggling to register players, and, when they try and buy new players in, it's always a bit of a struggle. They're not exactly enthralled by the idea of selling Fermin Lopez because he's another academy graduate. Do you know what I mean? He's one of the La Masia boys. But they are fairly stacked in their midfield. You've got Frankie de Jong is still there, and he doesn't look like he wants to go anywhere. You've got Gavi, you've got Pedri. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of really good attacking midfielders at Barcelona at the moment. So it seems like Chelsea might be trying their luck, so to speak. At the end of the day, numbers-wise, for the last season or two at least, he seems comparable to Xavi Simons, at least. A little bit older by like 1 year. Do you know what I mean? He's like 22, 23 years old. So it's just a bit of a weird one, isn't it? And like I say, we're in the last week of the transfer window. This is where stuff starts to get a little bit crazy. Is it a smoking gun to say, oh, look, Red Bull Leipzig, we're actually going to try and buy this guy from Barcelona instead? Or is it a genuine option? Let me know what you think in the comments. If we go in for someone like Fermin Lopez, do you think that's a good idea? Do you think he's better, worse than Xavi Simons? Let's talk about it. I'd love to know what you guys think. And what else I would love, guys, is if you are enjoying the content and would like to see more, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. So, it's just getting so messy, isn't it, man? It's just getting so messy. I guess things might have been a little bit accelerated by the Cole Palmer news, right? Because Cole Palmer obviously missed out on the West Ham game, and there are some reports to suggest that he might miss the Fulham game as well, so he might not be okay. Supposedly, Cole Palmer was playing through injury up until the point that he pulled out of the West Ham game, and maybe that groin injury is giving him a little bit more grief than we initially imagined, because unfortunately, it looks like he might not be around for the next one either. So we do have, obviously, Esteval Willian, who can absolutely ably deputise in that position. He's looking really, really, really good, but he's 18 years old. All of the guys we're looking at are pretty young right now, but you can't put this much pressure on an 18-year-old, can you, man? It's a little bit nuts. So Fermin Lopez, maybe a smoking gun, maybe a genuine thing. I'm not 100% sure. We will have to see how that kind of extends, but we can be fairly confident that the talks have actually happened because this is top tier reporting, right? This is David Ornstein, who I guess you could argue at the moment has a bit more credit in the bank than Fabrizio Romano does. It seems like Fabrizio Romano, I had a really, really interesting chat about this on the last stream that I was on with the Blue Lounge. That was a couple of weeks ago now. I wasn't on the last one, but we were talking about Fabrizio Romano a little bit, and it seems that his credibility is generally starting to dip a little bit, right? And I guess that is kind of backed up by the fact that he is coming out every single day with these tiny little tidbits of news, do you know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, Xavi Simons is still being talked about and this, that and the other. And it's like, Fabrizio Romano used to be the guy who came in and being like, boom, here we go, this is happening. Now it's, I've got to get something out today, so what's it going to be? So David Ornstein seems to have a little bit more credibility in that respect in the moment, in the public eye at least. So it's certainly a tricky one. Fermin Lopez, to talk about him, does look like a good player. He does look like the kind of player that could come in and play that similar kind of role that we'd be looking at Xavi Simons for, and that we do look at Cole Palmer for anyway. it's just getting messy, isn't it? We started the transfer window so well, man. It started so well. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, bam, Liam Delap. Bam, João Pedro. Bam, Yoro Hato. Well, Yoro Hato was a little bit less of a bam. It took a little bit longer. But at the end of the day, we went out and filled these positions that we needed to pretty quickly. Do you know what I mean? What's happening now is long, lethargic talks. We're still going on about Garnacho. We're still going on about Xavi Simons. And now we're adding another one into the mix of that. We are starting to sell players. Carney Chukwuemeka finalised his 5-year deal at Borussia Dortmund today. So that is obviously one that we can, actually talk about and be in terms of a deal that has actually been done. So that's good. But the Fermin Lopez, I don't know, I've got smoking gun syndrome, man. It just feels a little bit like it kind of came out of nowhere. From what you can see, Barcelona don't really want to sell either, but I guess it's a little bit of like they're in that financial need, aren't they? They can always do with more money. Barcelona, long gone are the days where Barcelona were just able to attract all of the best talent in the world because they had the likes of Messi and Iniesta and Xavi in the team, and everyone wanted to come and play with them. Do you know what I mean? And they were winning stuff all the time as well. It's been a little bit to and fro with Barcelona's success over the last half decade or so. And as I said, man, they do have Pedri, Gavi, Frankie de Jong doesn't look like he wants to go anywhere either. So they are a little bit stacked in that position. Obviously, no one knows better than Chelsea fans in the Premier League at the moment about book profit, right? We love selling an academy player because you make all of that money straight away. I'm not 100% sure who else Barcelona have added to their team. I do know that Hansi Flick has been pretty good since he's been there. And he played like 28 games last season, Fermin Lopez did, so it's not exactly like he was a core part of the team, but that's enough. He scored 6 goals last season, he scored 8 goals the season before. That's kind of enough to, warrant, okay, it's good to keep this guy around. But money talks at the end of the day, and Barcelona are probably in a bit more of a need than most clubs. Do you know what I mean? With every window, there's like, they can't register this player, they can't register that player. So, Fermin Lopez, tell me what you think in the comments, guys. I'd love to know. Do we stick with the Xavi Simons deal? Obviously, we've put all of this time into it. Or would Fermin Lopez represent a better option for slightly less money? But moving on from that, there is more to talk about pertaining to Mr. Nicolas Jackson. And supposedly, he has agreed personal terms with Bayern Munich. That's a great move, right? That's a really, really good move. Obviously, so what there is supposedly still interest from Newcastle and from Aston Villa, but you would imagine that Bayern Munich have probably got a bit more financial muscle to make this one happen. Bit of a strange one, because from the Newcastle or Aston Villa point of view, you could probably see Jackson going straight into that first team. Do you know what I mean? Definitely in Newcastle, because per the Isaac situation, do you know what I mean? They don't have like a proper first team striker at the moment. Looks like they've been playing Anthony Gordon up front for a little while now, for the first couple of games at least. Obviously, they lost against Liverpool yesterday, didn't they? Nicolas Jackson's probably going to go in and have a really, really good go at wrestling that position off of Ollie Watkins from Villa. You go into Bayern Munich and there's Harry Kane there. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yes, okay, Harry Kane is, in his, what's he like, 33 now, getting on to 34, something like that. But he ultimately still one of the best strikers on the planet, man. So is it like, what? I guess it depends on what Jackson wants, doesn't he? Because if Jackson wants to go in, then yeah, sound. But at the end of the day, I guess if Jackson goes in and has a good season, Harry Kane probably hasn't got loads of time left in front of him. So you can kind of see it happening. What I haven't seen anything about yet is amounts being talked about. And I guess the reason the deal hasn't already happened is because Bayern Munich don't want to pay what we want for Jackson, right? Jackson, we're talking about costing in the realms of, it's going to be like 50, 60 mil in it. It's just going to be 50, 60 mil, something like that. That's more than we made for him. That's profit, book profit on a striker that we've had for a couple of seasons. I'm getting so sick and tired of all of this haranguing for deals and money. We need to get stuff happening, man. We need to get stuff happening. The centre-back situation still needs looking at. What's going on with Cole Palmer? Do we get Garnacho regardless of whether we make any of these sales or not? Do you know what I mean? I will get onto that in a minute. There's a little bit of news pertaining to Garnacho, but yeah, Nicolas Jackson to Bayern Munich. This is the first time we've seen something like personal terms agreed. Bayern Munich have been in the market for an attacker. Obviously, they lost out on Musalaya because he got a serious injury in the Club World Cup. They were in for Christopher Nkunku for a little while, but although Christopher Nkunku would be cheaper than Nicolas Jackson for the outlay, his wages are higher, right? Jackson's probably not on quite the same sort of wage packet as Christopher Nkunku is. And obviously over the term of like a 5-year contract, that makes like a huge difference, doesn't it? So it seems, and obviously like Nicolas Jackson isn't that much younger, so probably represents, better potential and more room for growth and development. That'd be a wicked move for Jackson, man. Bayern Munich. Do you know what I mean? Even if it is behind, a top tier Harry Kane kind of thing. And I guess we're always just seeing what happens at the moment, aren't we? I'm so tired of this transfer window, man. Make it stop. Make it just end. I just want to focus on the football. But before let's have a little chat about the Alejandro Garnacho stuff. Alejandro Garnacho. So Chelsea have supposedly said they are standing firm in their valuation of Garnacho, which they want to be £35 million. I am of the opinion, although that has changed a bit over the last few weeks, I'm of the opinion that anything minus 40 for Garnacho is good, because he either comes in and does really well, wicked, or he comes in and does okay, and we sell him for more than 40 mil anyway. Do you know what I mean? We'll make that money back for Garnacho in a year or two. Do you know what I mean? Just because Chelsea are some of the best sellers on the planet. United still want 50. Do you know what I mean? United are. This will go probably down to the wire, down to the last day. It does look like this is the only deal I've seen recently that hasn't been one where they've been like, this deal relies on Chelsea selling Nkunku, Jackson, this, that, and the other. Do you know what I mean? It seems like they are just ready to put that outlay in for Garnacho. And I guess that's got something to do with how much you'd make back off of him, right? Because if you get him for that 35 mil, do you know what I mean? You sell him for 45, 50, then yeah, sweet, you make your profit. If you buy a Xavi Simons for 60, 70 mil, then you're going to have to sell him for 80 plus in a year or two in order to make that back. And if he doesn't do well, then it's going to be harder to get that kind of price for him. So maybe that kind of makes sense, but we are ostensibly where we were a week ago. Do you know what I mean? Xavi Simons, no closer to happening yet. Garnacho being seriously pushed by Fabrizio Romano, man. Seriously pushed by Fabrizio Romano. He is all over it. Updates every single day. There was that picture a little while ago with Garnacho in the change rooms with his head in his hands, like Garnacho waiting for the Chelsea move as per Fabrizio Romano. I'm not sure what it is that's got Fabrizio so fired up about, making sure that this one goes through. But he has been really pushing this one hard, man, like trying to manifest it himself. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, maybe there is something in there, as I spoke with the Blue Lounge and Worldwide Chelsea and Behind the Dugouts about on that stream a little while ago, that Fabrizio Romano's credibility is maybe starting to wane a little bit, because he's had a couple of here we goes now that haven't actually come off. And obviously he's been pretty big on this one from the start of the window. So it might just be a case of he's pushing it really hard. If it doesn't happen, it'd be really interesting to see what goes on with Fabrizio Romano then. Do you know what I mean? Because I have seen several times 100% going to happen. Do you know what I mean? 100% going to happen. Today's tweet from Fabrizio Romano was still in really advanced talks. Do you know what I mean? So, we all know, man. We all know we're talking to Man United about Garnacho. We all know what the problem is now. You've given us every little detail. You've told us when he's gone to buy a Snickers from the local shop. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of where we're at the moment, guys. It is a mix. Obviously, the big news is the Fermin Lopez stuff and the speculation about what that might mean for the Xavi Simons deal, because it's going to be one or the other, right? We're not going to go in for Fermin Lopez and Xavi Simons. We don't need that many centre attacking midfielders. And based on how difficult all of these deals have been to do, we haven't got that much money to spend. Do you know what I mean? So is that a smoking gun or not? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what you think. Nicolas Jackson agrees terms with Bayern Munich. Seems like a good move. Be interested when we start seeing how much money it's going to be. Do you know what I mean? I can't imagine Bayern Munich just coming out and paying the 70, 80 mil or whatever that Chelsea have been asking for him. But we need to get him off the books. Bayern Munich are interested. Okay, cool. And finally, Garnacho is still happening. Supposedly, we're still talking about Garnacho. I can't wait to come back to this one. Nice one, guys. I'm going to wrap it up there. Just a little short one today. But I hope you're all having an absolutely wicked day. And I'll catch up with you very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.